that initial launch information, or the launch video there, that was automotive style. That was the sort of thing you'd expect to see at the Swiss Motor Show or something like that. I mean, it's just incredible, and I think that really does show just how far the development of construction equipment has come in recent years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And to me, what we really need to do, Mark, in this industry is we need to make it look cool. But we have to show people what's going and what's put into these machines. And why can't we have a car key that opens the doors? I've tried to get into machines before, and you've got to yank the actual door to get in it. Why can't we have that kind of approach? We've seen also Bobcat using their iPhone to control their skid steers. So Doosan Bobcat are really looking at, look, this is equipment. It doesn't have to be dull, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It should be what you're used to going into your car. And that's sort of Tesla-led stuff, because these are places where people have got to spend like 12 hours a day in a shift inside that. And guess what? If it's got these features that are for people, the operators, the people that are going to sit in there, then wouldn't an operator more likely go and say, hey, boss, get us one of those Doosans, would you? Because it looks awesome.
Absolutely. And it also harkens back to something that you and I touch on a fairly regular basis, this idea of encouraging young people. You just mentioned your son at 13. Does he want to drive something with grotty old levers and a bench for a seat, or does he want to be in the Tesla lookalike with all the bells and whistles? Well, I think I know which way my kids would have gone back in the day.
The industry is growing up, and it's great to see now that we are getting into a stage where we can really give people an all-round feel from being immersed into a machine like this, so that you can really sense what it's like to operate. Virtual reality coming into reality in the way in which these things interact, and it's done in such a clever, high-end way that sometimes if you just look at some of the clips, you think, is that a real machine, or is that a virtual machine?
Now, obviously, we've seen the launch today, and it was, from what I can gather, it's a staggered launch. So we've got an initial 7 models right up to a 6.4 cubic meter class DL580-7, but there's 4 more models to come, so they're not even finished yet.
Well, I think what really strikes you about when they all come in like that is this is a new family, and they're saying what's changed within their piece. Well, guess what? The family's changed. The family's grown up. The family has had a makeover. And I think it's really important for people to get these units out there, so that get that initial model out there, so that people can see the vision, so that they know how, so they can plan with Doosan as to what they can expect. And we've seen it from other manufacturers that they bring in a next generation machine, show that machine, and show what we would have as a landscape in front of us throughout the year, to see how that machine, how that concept, how that generation, how that technology, how that usability, comfort, maintenance is all going to then flow through on different models. And it's critical that people show that pathway, because people are going to buy these machines and they're going to, 3-4 years they're going to keep them for.
Look, I realise that a well-produced video and lashings of CGI proves nothing, and obviously that was shot to show the machines in their best light, but they really do look the part, don't they?
What I really liked? I really liked the fact that the bucket was scratched. It's a crazy thing, really. I really like the fact that they've gone, well, look, we're going into a load of rocks here. And, of course, the bucket is not going to look immaculate as it would do, in a showroom. So I think that that's really clever. They've thought about the details of that. And I think, what really makes me feel that they've gone to that thought process is that what they're showing there is actually how the machine is working. So there's a number of different features that you've got there. First of all, what is great to see is them linking that with obviously their ADT product as well. But what you've got is the ability to show this sort of articulation and to show the way in which that machine can physically work. So that is really important, because we need to understand some of those key features, but seeing it in context of that actually working in what looks and feels like a real sort of quarry mining style environment is really important.
It's interesting that you picked up on the scratched bucket, because there was a moment during the launch, which we'll come on to in a second, where I actually thought maybe I'd been sniffing some marker pens or something, because somebody referred to a transparent bucket. So I immediately thought, I've misheard that.
Yeah.
Turns out the bucket is still made of steel, as you've already seen, and not glass as I first feared. But before we talk about it, let's just show what that looks like, because this is some truly remarkable technology right here. Let's have a look. Now, Peter, you get to speak to a lot of equipment operators on your travels. That really looks like it ticks all the boxes for comfort, ease of maintenance, and, as we've already mentioned, a transparent bucket.
Right, the first thing I want to say, though, Mark, is you always get these mavericks when they put these sort of 3D things together. I just had to laugh when I saw the lizard. Right, let's get a bit more serious now. Transparent bucket. Okay, it sounds ludicrous, sounds ridiculous, but what a clever thing to do. That's really thinking outside the box. I mean, well, actually, probably thinking outside the bucket, Mark, in the cab, because, wow, you can use camera technology to do that. You can actually see how you're going into a pile in front of you, and therefore you can optimize how you go into a pile. Again, operators, they've got that knowledge, and you can actually see how it can really work very well. And I just think that's just so clever. It's just taking, again, the cars, and their visibility and the new technologies, and going, how can we put that into there? And that, for me, is standout. The
more that you look at some of these machines, the machines that we've just seen there, that's not been dreamt up on a drawing board. Somebody has actually done their homework there, and like you say, things like the high pressure air thing there, that's got to have come from an operator. That's not just come from a wizard with a laptop, has it?
No, I think look, let's understand how this is being delivered better now. You have got 3D design. So you've got the ability, like we've just had, to be taken into the machine, to be around the machine, and to actually see how it physically operates. So how does that door open? Where is that screen mounted? Where is the operator situated within the space? So you can have, with virtual reality and in design, you can now put people with the goggles, with whatever, inside the machine. And why is that important? Because operators are all shapes and sizes, working in all different types of conditions and all different environments throughout the world, and also throughout seasons that you go through. And so having this ability to bring people in that virtual context in the early stages of design, which I know is happening more and more now, is a real game changer.
It's interesting that you picked up there on the in-cab displays as well. And one of the things that I've been writing about plant for the last 30 odd years, and you've seen the external design of machines refined to improve visibility, particularly with the wheel loader, forward visibility over the edges of the bucket and that kind of thing. And yet in the last 5-6 years, with the development of all these add-on systems, telematics and in-cab monitoring and all that, I mean, I was astounded. Some of the machines I saw at ConExpo, for example, you've got a clear line of sight, but in front of that clear line of sight, you've got this bank of screens. Whereas I do think, hats off to Doosan, that certainly wasn't the case here. That did all look like it was neatly tucked away.
that cab clutter has been an issue, but it's actually, again, it's an issue that is being tackled, because what we've got people like a Geosystems building in things into their tablet, so there doesn't have to be another tablet. We've got things like audible alerts, so you can take away a screen. We've got things like visible light-based alert systems, so they can take another role. But we've also got the ability to look at the future where we are now, which leads to sort of the road to autonomy, which actually takes away a lot of the actions and allows the operator to focus on the actual job at hand and look outside of the screen. And this particular operator I'm writing about, called Chris, he uses a chime-based system because it tells him he's getting quite close to the level in which he's got to then start grading and using the screen and the technology to do that. So I think we have seen that clutter. We're now seeing the declutter. Personal alert devices built into like a Geosystems tablet, for example, which means that you can put those on helmets of people that are maybe around the job site. So those are the things I know about. We've also got a lot more coming through, and all of it is aimed at making the job site a safer place to be. Yes, productivity and efficiency, but everybody, including the main contractor I spoke to for this article, is safety first. Why? Because people's lives matter. We all need to go home. And also, if you get it wrong, it's shutdown time, and the whole job stops. So this is filtering through. It's filtering through into design and integration. And, we're seeing a lot of technology now factory fitted when it comes to things like machine control as well. So it's all integrated.